Good morning, guys. Morning, morning, morning. How we doing? Yo, yo, yo. What up, Jerry? Alright, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy FOMC Wednesday. Should be a crazy one today. Alright, so market is just opening. I'm going to start just looking at the daily chart. And we can see, obviously, yesterday we went back to all-time highs with that crazy pump. And CPI took us even higher. CPI took us even higher this morning. So we just continue this bullish breakout. Pretty crazy. So over here, we can see it. We have hit a very high point on NQ. All right, guys, can you hear me now? Yeah. Check. Can you guys hear me? I think we should be good. We should be all good now. Check. Can you guys hear me? Checking. Hello. Check. Alright, guys. Are you guys able to hear me now? Sorry about this. Hello, hello, hello. Checking 1 2 1 2. Can you guys hear me? Check, check, check. Anybody there? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? Okay. My apologies, guys. My apologies. I am getting new Wi-Fi this, actually, tomorrow afternoon. Getting new Wi-Fi. This Wi-Fi has crashed on me, so my apologies about that, guys. We are back. Let's get this going. I will have new Wi-Fi very soon. We will not have these issues. Okay, so let's look at the 15-minute. Let's pull up NQ here. Pull up NQ on a 15-minute time frame here. We can see that CPI really took us up pretty high. Very, very, very high. Okay, so I'm going to pull up ES over here on the left. So again, our assumption has to be long biased, right? Our assumption has to be that we're going to continue in these longs. Again, we have nothing to chart above on ES or NQ. Since we are at all-time highs, there's nothing above us. So we have to assume the longs until we see an actual reversal pattern, until we see some kind of market structure shift to the downside, just like yesterday when I was talking about those longs. We're assuming we're going to continue until we see that shift. Okay, so I have my Asia high, Asia low charted out already. London high is up here at 215. Again, we don't have a lot for us to chart out on the buy side, right? On the highs, not a lot for us to chart. Our London low is down here at 3:15 a.m. So pretty much we are going to be setting up for FOMC today. All right, so everything right now still tells me long. Like I said, until we can actually see that market structure shift, I'm thinking long. Right now, it looks like we set up a little power of 3. We're going back for the all-time highs. We see this accumulation, the manipulation down, and then we see a pump, okay? We see us trade into a fair value gap, create a 1-minute bullish order block, and then we pump off that order block. All right, so that's that 1 minute plus OB right there, 1 minute bullish order block. Okay, so we have to assume longs are going to continue. Same thing over here on ES. ES is already back at the all-time highs. Created new all-time highs. Okay, looking at the VIX obviously dumped as well when we had that pump. And we see the Dow or YM is also pumping. So everything today so far is pumping. Again, remember, We have FOMC coming up today at 2 p.m. Eastern. 2 p.m. Eastern is that FOMC statement. That's when everything is going to go crazy. Until then, we don't have any really. We have one yellow folder event at 10:30 Eastern, but that's it. So until then, we're probably going to see some volatility in our market. It's probably not going to be. It might be a little bit choppy. We'll see. Right now, we're still pumping pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to be looking long all the way, right, until we can see some kind of market structure shift. But again, I'm not going to chase the longs up here at all-time highs. We just made a new all-time high. I'm going to wait for pullback, wait for a good level. We have a few minutes left on this opening range. Like I talked about before, opening range is that first 15-minute candle. We want to see if price is going to push through on either side of that opening range. Okay, so in terms of, let's say that the market wanted to shift and we wanted to come back down and rebalance the market. Now we're starting to look for our liquidity levels on the downside. So right here, we've got that low. Right, we've got internal liquidity here. And then we don't have any liquidity until down here at our London low, Asia low, and these lows down here, right? So we've got a long way from any sort of liquidity besides this low down here. So I am just going to assume longs are going to continue to pump. Again, not looking for an entry up top, waiting to see if we're going to get any kind of retracement, maybe down to that 1 minute order block, create something that we can actually look to take long. And we don't really have, obviously we don't have any take profit levels, so we're just going to have to kind of focus on our risk to reward and scaling out and just holding trades until we see some actual real break of structure or pullback or market structure shift, that kind of thing. So again, today is a day we want to play with a lot of caution. I'm still scaling down in my trades today, not going heavy. And we'll see if we get anything good set up leading into our FOMC meeting later this morning. For me, it's in the morning. I know for a lot of you, it's in the afternoon. So we will see. We just continue to pump. We're not getting any pullback. We're not really getting any chance to get involved in these longs right now. I don't know if anybody got in the longs down here. But obviously, I've not gotten in any trades yet. When I see all of these bullish candles, there's none of these candles are. I'm not going to enter off any of these. Not until we see some kind of retracement. Got to see some kind of retracement. Got to see some kind of market structure shift until I really want to get into a trade. Right? Not really rushing to get any entries today. It's got to be really, really solid for me to want to get in. Right? This is the type of day. This is one of those account killer days. Our volatility is going to be crazy. We really have to manage our trades very, 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 very good. You guys can see how much we're moving. Again, there's a few ways you could play this. I don't like to chase trades, obviously. I don't like to get in when we're up here. But if you want, if that's something you're trying to do, right, if you could basically try to trade the longs until you see a red candle, until you see a down close candle, that's another way you could go about it, right? If we're not going to see any down close candles on this, you could just keep trading longs until you see, and just keep trailing your stop until you see some kind of down close candle. And since we're at all-time highs and there's no resistance, there's nothing stopping us right now. So you could keep trying to trade these longs, maybe at the open of each 1 minute candle, or if you've been holding, just keep trailing your stop if you got in any of these longs. That's kind of there's not many ways to. There's a few different ways you can manage this type of trade or this type of price action when we're at all-time highs, and that's one of them. If you guys really want to get involved, you could basically continue to try to trade the longs until we see any down close candle or a market structure shift, because so far Look at all of these up close candles. There's nothing taking us down right now. There's nothing. And again, there's no opportunity for me to get involved here because we don't have any pullback or anything into an actual good level. So a 15-minute opening range just closed, and we already broke the top of the opening range, so we might continue. We might continue to pump here. We might not stop. Pretty insane day so far already. Insane. Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, we have to just keep assuming longs are going to step in until we see an actual pullback or retracement or shift in market structure. Yeah, so at 9:36, yes, on this is a trade that I would have considered getting in. Again, I typically don't look to take trades right after market open, so I don't necessarily know if I would have gotten in. But that is pretty much the only entry we've seen so far that could have been a good entry. Yeah, we had that 1 minute bullish breaker. But yeah, so far that really is the only entry. That's the only entry we've seen, or at least that I've seen, that I would have even thought about taking. If you guys can see right here, we had this 1 minute. We had a fair value gap here. Right there, we traded into it. Traded into this 1 minute down here. 1 minute bullish breaker. And pumped. So that's pretty much the only entry opportunity so far. And I mean, yeah, it's offered a lot of points, but I typically, you guys know if you've been trading with me, you know I don't like to take trades before 6:45 a.m. PST. I typically like to wait for that first 15-minute candle to form and then start looking for entries. Sometimes I'll trade before that, just depends. So as I was saying, I mean, you could have kept, if you wanted to trade these longs, I was talking about that right here. Right? You could have kept trading the longs until we see a down close candle. Still would have been about 114 ticks there. And you could have sold right when you saw that down close candle. Or just moved your stop way into profit. So there's still opportunities to catch trades here. Again, I'm not someone that's going to chase this price action. I'm obviously, you guys know me, I'm going to be waiting for a range to form. Waiting for pullback on that range into an actual fair value gap or order block, something to use as support to take long. Not really looking just to rush into a trade just because I have FOMO or I feel the need to get into a trade. I'm coming into today with the expectation of not taking a lot of trades. Really, it's got to be really, really good for me to want to get in. So we're forming this 5 minute fair value gap here. Let's see if we want to trade into that. So 5 minute busy there. About to close this 5 minute candle and we just continue to pump. You can see on the 1 minute, we're forming this 1 minute order block here. All right, could be a new support level. If we can displace and close above, all right, it would be this right here. These two down close candles is that new order block. So that would be that 1 minute plus OB. And that could be another level to long off of, or we could wait for a price to trade back into the 5 minute busy below. All right, but look at that bounce. We're already seeing a bounce with that 1 minute order block. All right, I'm not in any trades, but you could try to keep a stop below that order block. You could try to take the longs from here. All right, just keep holding them. I still haven't gotten an entry yet, but we're seeing that bounce off that 1 minute order block. Pretty good bounce. So if that's an entry you want to get, you could take it. Personally, we finally created a fair value gap below, so I kind of wanted to wait to see if we would trade back into that. But nothing's really stopping us, so like I said, right now, if you got that entry off to tap into that order block, right, you're just looking for risk to reward, right? You're looking to catch a 1-to-1, a 2-to-1, a 3-to-1. You're looking at ES as confluence to see, is ES starting to break structure? Well, that means NQ is probably going to start to break structure soon, so I might want to get out of my trade. Is the VIX starting to pump? Well, it is starting to pump, so maybe we want to get out of our trade. Things like that. Looking at confluence, because when you have no technical analysis levels on NQ, you have to use these other charts as your conviction even more than normal. But we're still pumping. I mean, if you guys got in this long, what I would be doing is just waiting for it to hit either a 1-to-1, right, like 50 ticks taking profit, or waiting for it to hit a 2-to-1, like 100 ticks taking profit, or just slowly trailing my stop into profit. Every time we see a strong up close candle, I would just trail my stop into profit. That's what I would do. NQ and ES are correlated markets, so one will always follow the other. So it depends on the day. Sometimes NQ will lead, sometimes ES will lead. Just depends which market is stronger, but you can still use them as very strong confluence. Pivot point. I do look into pivot points. Again, we see ES at all-time highs as well. Like there's really not too much stopping us. I don't use pivot points too much, but it's something I look into a little bit. Again, there is no reason to be trying to short this market until you actually see a market structure shift. There's no reason to be trying to short this market. Like Doc said, he's tried to short days like this and it never ends well. I've tried the same. I've tried to catch the top every single time. It never works out. So do not just don't try to just guess the top of a trade like this. Like you pretty much have to wait for that market structure shift. Again, another bounce off that 1 minute order block, another long opportunity there. There's no reason to be shorting when we're at all-time highs, when we're in an extremely strong bullish trend. The only time I would ever think about shorting this, like I said, is once we get that shift. Yeah, there's none. We don't have anything up here. Absolutely no resistance. Back in the one. So this is when I would start thinking about being a little more cautious in my longs, because we're finally seeing a lot of down close candles. All right, so I would start being cautious about getting in the longs here at this point. But doesn't mean I'm just going to jump into the shorts. We'll see if we get a break of structure here, or if we're just going to trade into that 5 minute below, or still use this 1 minute as support. But when we start to see stronger down close candles, that's when I'm starting to kind of wait on the longs a little bit. Wait for them to finish that retracement move, get that pullback, coming down into a good PD array. Right, like now we form this 5 minute fair value gap underneath the 5 minute order block, another long opportunity there. Right, so I might look to get in longs again here. Let's see. All right, I'm going to get in longs, guys, in half a lot. I'm going to test them out. I'm just going to throw one contract in. 19495 is my entry, so I'm just gonna test it. Obviously, my entry's kind of high. Put my stop down below the lows. 50 ticks with just one contract. 19482.50 is going to be my stop. Right, so this is like the only kind of thing I'll be trying to do is just seeing pullback, looking to catch the longs. Taking profit, getting out until we see a market structure shift. So I'm just holding one contract right now, right? And I probably won't even add into a full on this. I'll probably just hold one and just trail my stop. Okay, so 50 ticks is a 1-to-1. Right there is a 1-to-1. I'll probably try to hold this, maybe for a 2-to-1, just to see what kind of pump we get. One mini. Okay, so we traded back into a 5-minute. We created a 5-minute order block, traded into a 5-minute fair value gap below, and now we're starting to pump. We came back down to the 1-minute bullish order block, and now we're starting to pump. So these are the only entries I'm really looking for here. All right, so once I hit that 50 tick mark, I'll just start trailing my stop. Or it doesn't even matter. We could even just move our stop to break even at this point. Like, you can be very, very cautious with your risk. And just, if we're going to be pumping like crazy, you can really just start to trail your stop pretty close. Like, if we're not wanting to break through, then I probably just want to get out and just wait for a different entry. All right, we can see we're kind of stalling. So if we start to stall and start to drop aggressively, I'll just get out and wait for a different entry. I'm not going to take like a bad loss on this one. Obviously, it's only half a lot. It's only half a lot for me, so, which is even smaller half a lot than my typical one. Okay, another good bounce there. All right, so I'm still holding this, but I'll think about starting to trail my stop, pretty soon. If we can get one pump up to like a 1-to-1, up to 50 ticks, I'll just move my stop to break even. And if we get another pump, I'll either just sell or I'll keep trailing my stop pretty closely. And if we start to get major pullback, we start to dump, I'm just going to get out. All right, if we don't want to bounce from this level, I'll just get out here. Like, we're seeing an aggressive drop here. If we don't get a bounce, I'll just sell my position. Alright, I'm just going to get out. See, like when I see that kind of drop, I'm just going to get out and I'll just wait for a different entry. Alright, and again, if we do another bounce, I'll look to get back in the longs again. But if we get a break of structure, I'm going to kind of wait on getting in those longs. Because now we kind of see a double top. Right, aggressive down close candle here. So I'll wait for another re-entry. Okay, we still could get a bounce off this 1 minute. But now that we're starting to stall and we're starting to see more down close candles, I'm probably going to wait a little bit. And we still got a nice reaction off that 1 minute order block. So, I mean, you could technically still hold this position with your stop, under the order block or under those lows. But now that I'm finally seeing this kind of price action, I'll probably wait for another long. Probably wait. We're about to close on the hour, so let's see how this hourly candle closes. And then I'll look for something else. All right, but notice how I'm going in very light. Not really looking to scale in heavy, just trying to test out, see if we're going to get the continuation of the longs. All right, we finally had pullback into a good level, but now we can see that we're kind of failing to push through. We're starting to chop a little bit. So now I'll wait for this chop to kind of stop and then look for another entry. Okay, so we're still respecting that 1 minute order block. The hourly just closed, very bullish, but we can see we're finally starting to get some bearish movement here. Hey, past the 250. Let's go. Congrats. Well, that's what I'm waiting for now. Seeing that this bearish price action now, this is where we could start to see a reversal if we start to see a break of structure, and that's why I got out of my longs. That's why I cut my long position early, because I started to see that we were really coming down. Okay, but we're still chopping here, so we'll see what happens. We did get SMT at the highs. You can see ES trying to form a bearish breaker. So this could be the point where we actually start to come down Obviously, we still assume longs are going to. We assume longs are still going to be in play until we see a market structure shift, right? So I'm not looking for a reentry until we're out of this chop, out of this little 1 minute range. Because, again, even if we do pump from here, there's still going to be other entry opportunities. I don't want to, out of all of this pump, I don't want to get back in when we're chopping. Like, this is not the time I want to get back in. But for me, guys, there's no reason that I would want to get in heavy today. No reason to get in heavy today. Personally, that's not what I'm going to do. Okay, I mean, we could very easily break out again. We could see these longs step right back in. All right, we trade back into that 5 minute fair value gap below, and we're starting to pump again. But I would just wait for us to break out of this range. Yeah, I just tried out one long here. Tried out one long off the test of that 1 minute order block, 5 minute fair value gap. Cut it early. Few ticks in the red. Just waiting for a better entry. Again, just going in very light today. We're starting to chop, so now we're going to wait a little bit for a new entry for a different trade. We can see we're creating accumulation right now. So at this point, just wait for something more clear. Still have SMT at the highs. Let's see. The VIX is moving up a little bit. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, of all the price action that we're going to see today, this is the price action I don't want to trade in. Because we're going to see real expansion moves, right? And that's what I was hoping to see after that pullback. And we just kind of started to chop after we got that entry. So just wait for another breakout. Wait for a retest. Wait for a retracement. Yeah, all-time highs, it's tough to navigate. But again, you just keep assuming the longs are going to step in. You find a good support level. You get in, and you get out. Or you get in, and you just start trailing your stop. How do I look at the 15-minute fair value gap? Pretty much would be looking at the 50% level of that 15-minute. All right, so let's say we chart it out. Here on the 15. All right, I'm looking at the 50% level to see how far price wants to go into it. All right, if we bounce off that equilibrium, that's when I'm starting to look for longs again, back to the upside. If that 50% level is mitigated and we kind of close below it, I'm starting to, that probably means that we're breaking structure and getting a market structure shift. So I'm starting to kind of think about probably looking at shorts after that happens. Okay, so we're still chopping. We can't seem to break out of this range just yet. Just waiting for us to do that. And guys, if you've never traded all-time highs before, if you've never traded in this kind of condition, if you've never traded on FOMC day before, be very smart. Understand the risk. This is a higher risk type of day, and that's why I'm scaling down. This whole week has been a higher risk type of week, and that's why you see me scaling way down. That's why you see me being very, very cautious in my trades. Right, cutting losers early. Just taking, if I'm going to take a loss, it's going to be a very minimal loss. Just like that last one, very minimal loss. And the potential for reward is pretty high today. Okay, but whenever we see a high reward, we're gonna see higher risk. So you really have to dial in these entries. Wait for us to get out of chop. Wait for us to be in an expansion move. And then look for that entry. These are those types of days that people love to gamble, and they love to gamble their accounts away just because they think they're going to make $50,000 on one trade. So they go in as heavy as they can, and then they blow their account in a few seconds. Yeah, there's going to be opportunity later for a great move. Great move. We wait for FOMC to play out. Man, after that FOMC news comes out, you just wait for it to pick a direction. You wait for it to make its fake out move. And then you can catch amazing setups off of it if you just give it some time. It's just the people that try to get in right as that news is being released that get wrecked. Oh yeah, FOMC, you could blow your account within, literally seconds. Because that thing will pump or dump, 500 ticks or 400 ticks in a few seconds. Or a few hundred ticks. Yeah, and trust me, people will be liquidated a lot today. But there's ways you can play it a lot smarter. Like I said, you just wait for that news to come out. Typically, FOMC has a fake out move initially, and then we actually see the real move happen. Good morning, Enrique. How you doing? So it's just about being patient. And if it's too volatile and there's not really an opportunity, then we won't take a trade. But if you can be patient, wait for that right setup, wait for the direction to be picked, there's opportunity. Okay, so at this point, we're still waiting for us to get out of this accumulation. Maybe we'll see a nice little power of 3 setup. Maybe NQ wants to trade down into that fair value gap on the 5 and the 15 minute. And continue up. We're still seeing SMT, so this could be the point where we start to actually come back down. Maybe break structure. So we'll see. Again, let's look back at the VIX. VIX is pumping right now. VIX is pumping. YM is dumping. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to trade, I don't know. I still wouldn't recommend trading the FOMC right when it happens. Just because even with a few micros, you can still lose a lot of money. But if you want to wait for that initial move to happen and then go in pretty light, you could do that. So SMT, let's look at the highs. We've had it twice. So up here, yes, see how this high got swept. Look at over here on NQ. Same exact high, didn't get swept. Didn't get swept, right? So when we see ES come take out a high and NQ fails to do that and we start to see bearish momentum, that's when we start to think about, the shorts might be stepping in now. We see that ES went and grabbed liquidity. NQ is failing to do that. It's showing a lot of bearish momentum. So we might see NQ start to drop. Yeah, exactly. I like to wait about 15 to 30 minutes after FOMC, and that's when I start looking for a setup. Okay, so you can see NQ it just took out some sell side liquidity below. I would like to see it move a little bit lower if this is going to be a power of 3. Again, I still don't trust it right now. Still don't trust it. But we did sweep sell side. Typically, when we see a sweep sell side, we go right back up to the buy side. Here, we're starting to see us pump. Again, I'd still be waiting for the breakout. Still be waiting for us to break out. Wait for some retracement. If we're going to continue in the longs, that's when I would be looking for longs. Again, if we keep seeing SMT at the highs, I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. What up, what up? I'll be on for FOMC, so we'll still run our session at that time. Right, we'll still start it at 10:45 Pacific. I don't trade right when FOMC comes out, but sometimes what I'll do is I'll give it about 15 to 30 minutes, and we often will see a good setup after that. So we'll still be looking for something. Again, doesn't mean I'm going to gamble FOMC. It's not what I do. We'll wait for something good. Hey man, that's what it's all about. I was talking about this yesterday, guys. And someone asked me how I got the patience or how I, got to that point, and and just realizing that the patience in the market is my edge in the market. It's one of my, edges in the market. When I'm not patient, I don't really see success. When I'm patient is when I see the most success. When we really wait for those setups. And I know a lot of people will come into these sessions and they'll be like, this guy just sits around forever and does nothing. And guys, I understand that feeling. But I'm telling you, once I started being patient and really just only taking a few trades a day, waiting for the specific setups, that's when everything changed for me. That's one of my biggest edges in the market, is just sitting around, waiting for the perfect setups, only taking those, and that's what happens, and good things can happen. I haven't seen anybody say that, but I can assume I know that at least for beginners, I understand that feeling, because as a beginner, you come into the market and you just want to trade. You just want to get in. So I understand that feeling. So no one's actually specifically said that to me, but I can assume that there are plenty of people that can feel that way sometimes, right? If you haven't built that patience yet. Especially if you come from a different community, or all you ever know is that's, someone's taking 10 trades just in the New York AM session. Someone just trade. If that's all you ever know, you're going to assume that's how it's supposed to be. And some people can do that. I understand. Some people, that's what they like to do. Personally, that's not what I like to do. Okay, so we're finally breaking out. Finally seen the breakout. There we go. No more SMT, so now we're looking for another setup here. Now I'm starting to look for another long. We saw a sweep sell side. We just got to make sure that we're going to displace these highs. Let's see, this 15 minutes going to close pretty soon. 5 minutes going to close with displacement. All right, so now we're looking for another long setup again. One minute order block here. All right, we got that 1 minute plus OB. So now we just wait for pullback. We wait for pullback and look to take longs again. And if they run away, they run away. Again, you could trade the breakout if you want. I don't like to trade the breakout. I don't care if I miss out on profit. Just waiting for some kind of pullback, and I'll look to get back in. Okay, so now we see a little bit of a power of 3. I expected NQ to move a little bit lower on this power of 3, touch more into that 5 minute below, and we just didn't do that. That's why I wasn't ready to pull the trigger on the longs just yet. I mean, it's a possibility that this is the manipulation, but we are seeing a pretty strong move up. And again, right, we're not gonna guess the top. It's still a possibility that this could be the manipulation. Right, since we didn't really move too low. But again, I still assume that the longs are going to step in. Fair value gap down here. So we'll see. Again, I'm not going to just jump into the longs if we have a very aggressive move down. But I'll still look, you know, if we get a reaction, I'll look for a setup. Let's see if we want to trade into that fair value gap below. Not really looking for an entry unless we do that and unless we get a nice reaction off that level. Let's see if we want to trade down a little bit. Now I'd like my entry to be in this fair value gap below. Yeah, it's still possible. I don't really trust the bullish breakers when we're already in a bullish trend as much, though. I typically want to see a bullish breaker when we're in a bearish trend and we're getting a reversal, but yes. Yes, it is possible. Right, like low, high. Lower low right here would technically be a bullish breaker. Alright, so this candle right here would be that breaker unicorn model on the 1 minute. Really just waiting to see if we're going to trade down into this fair value gap. Get a good entry. Right, not going to get an entry if we're really pushing through to the downside, but if we see a nice reaction off that level, that's when I'll get an entry. Still haven't touched into it yet. Okay, now we're starting to push into it. If we can start to get a reaction is when I'll start looking for longs. Just want to be careful at this point. Okay, I'm going to test out the longs again here. Again, just half a lot. Seeing that reaction off that fair value gap. I'm going to test them out. Still just going to hold one contract here. I keep getting filled pretty high on my entries. So I'll just keep a 45 tick stop down at 19,500. We're not seeing a lot of reaction anymore. Still kind of seeing a little too much stalling, so just going to hold one contract for now. Just going to hold one. I'm not loving this stalling and this downward momentum here. So let's see if we can get that reaction off this 1 minute. Again, still going in really light. I'll let you know if I'm going to add another contract in. Alright, I'm just going to add one more contract in. So I just added into 2. I'll sell 1 once we reach that high. Okay, so my entry moved up to 12. Alright, so this high would be about around 50 ticks, so I would just get out of 1 there. I'm going to move my stop up a little bit. Move it up to like 40 ticks, 19,502. I'm just going to put a limit order at the highs. Just try to take a 1-to-1. I just don't like the stalling here. It seems that both entries we've gotten so far is when we want to just kind of chill and not make that pump or make that move up. Again, we're still seeing a nice reaction off that 1 minute. We also formed 5-minute fair value gap. We tapped into that. So let's see if we can get that continuation here. 2-minute fair value gap we traded into. Again, just going to look to take some profit off at the top. So I just got into 2 contracts. I'll sell 1 up there. And again, I'm going to manage this trade very closely. If we stall too much and we start to drop again, I'll just cut my losses early another time. Again, I want to catch the breakout moves. I want to catch the continuations of the trend. I don't want to catch the stalling and the chop. So far, both of the entries have kind of been stalling. Still like the setup, and the longs are still there. We still have not had any market structure shift. I want to be catching the moves when they're really still expanding. So let's see if we can at least go hit our first TP up here. Take some profit off around a 1-to-1, a little above a 1-to-1. And then just trail our other stop, trail our runner. So it's a little more than a 1-to-1. I got it at 50 ticks. I have my TP at 19,525. So it's a little bit above. It's like 52 ticks there. There we go. So I'm just going to move my stop to break even here. Moving my stop to break even. I'm just going to make this a risk-free trade. Again, I don't want it to come back on me. I'd rather just make this a risk-free trade and look for a re-entry. If it does want to come back and stop me out at break even, I don't care. I'll look for a different entry. Okay, the one reason for that is because now I'm seeing the VIX pumping again. So I just want to be careful of that. Just want to be careful of that. When I see the VIX pumping, doesn't, it takes away one of my confluences of seeing NQ pumping. So I'll just make this a risk-free trade here. Like I said, guys, playing with very tight risks today. I am not going to be very risky. We're moving a little bit slower. We're still moving in the right direction. We still have that 5-minute bullish fair value gap that we traded into. 2-minute. I mean, our price action looks great. It's just moving slow. Moving slow. Again, what we could do is we could start to, you could put 1 stop down here. You could move 1 stop into profit, keep 1 at break even. Things like that. Let's see if we want to pump past these highs. I'll take my profit here. There we go. First TP. Stop is going to move into profit here. I'm going to move my stop into profit. I'm going to move it just below our recent candle that we're forming right now, 19,520. 19,520. Okay, that's 67 ticks so far. So now my stop is here. That's my stop loss right now. If we start, I'd rather just take my profit. I don't want to. I'm going to keep my stop very tight now. And I'll slowly, every time we form a new candle, I'll slowly start to move my stop loss up. If we see major pullback after taking liquidity up here, I might just get out completely. Okay, nice winning trade so far, though. Stops in profit, wins a win. See if we want to keep pumping. You could always move your stop to the high where we took profit. Just, keep that full TP. Again, if we form another up close candle here, I'll move my stop up again to the bottom of this candle. Right, I'm not really looking to... I'm going to just trail my stop every time. Again, we see this pullback here. Right, just looking to keep my profit when I can have it. I don't want to hold my stop at break even. Because we can always find other entry opportunities on these pullback moves. All right, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to catch these types of trades. So 73 ticks at the top so far. 80 ticks would be a 2-to-1 for us. We had a 40 tick stop. 120 ticks would be a 3-to-1. So we'll see. Again, I'm going to move my stop up again. Just beneath that last order block we just formed. I'm going to put it at 19,522.50. 522.50. There's another pump there. You can sell everything here if you want. I'm going to move my stop up again. I'm going to move it up to 19,526. 19,526 is now my stop. Well into profit. Right there. That's where my stop's at. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to keep trailing it very close. I don't even care. I don't even care because if I get stopped out here, still above where our first TP was, it's not like we're losing out on any profit that we had before. So this is the way I trade all-time highs, guys. This is all I'm looking to do. It's these kind of trades right here. These kind of trades right here. We just keep riding the trend. I trail my stop really tight. Trail it really tight. If we start to pump again, I'll move my stop loss up again. And, you know, I don't typically like to just sell my whole position because there's still potential that we keep pumping. So I like to just trail my stop really close. Because there's those times where you're going to sell everything and then we're going to pump like 300 ticks. And you're going to be like, oh, why did I get out? You know, unless you have a specific profit goal you're looking for. You know, but if you can just trail your stop really close on a strong upwards trend, you're not going to miss out on too much profit as long as you're trailing it really close. Like I've got my stop about 15 ticks away right now. Or 20 ticks. I've got my stop about 20 ticks away. And if we keep pumping, I'll move my stop up again. Yeah, pretty much the low of the previous candle, or if we form an order block. So I'm going to move it up again. I'm going to move it up just below this candle that we have right now. So 19,533 is my new stop. I'm literally moving it all the way up here. All the way up here. We're almost at that 3-to-1 now. Look at that, guys. You can sell everything here if you want. I have my stop just below this candle. So even if I get stopped, I'm still looking at 80, almost, yeah, like 85 ticks in profit. We're about to hit that 3-to-1 risk to reward. Typically, I trade 4 minis, 2 to 4. Today, this week, I've been trading 1 to 2. So I'm just holding one runner right now. Guys, look, we just hit a 3-to-1, 120 ticks. 120 ticks there. This is what I'm talking about. Right when we form that next candle, I'll probably move my stop up again if we don't want to continue pumping. Let's see. We might get that pullback. Let's see if we want to stop me out here. Let's see if we want to stop me out. I'm going to move my stop up again, guys, up to the low of that new candle, 19,535.25. Just slowly moving it up. Now we're looking for a 4-to-1, 160 ticks. And we just continue to move up. Continue to move up. I mean, come on, guys. Look at that. This is how we trade all-time highs. Let's see how this next candle closes. I'll move my stop up again. Okay, if we can pump again, I'll move it. I'm going to keep it where it's at right now at 535.25. If we start to get another pump, I'll move it to the low of this candle that we're forming right now. Okay, we might come stop us out now. Let's see. Oh man, we got very close. All right, so now I'm done. Now I'm done there. All right, guys. So I mean, for me, I'm trading very light, and I was still able to snag like $550 off of that. Basically, only holding one contract for most of that trade. We sold at 50 ticks. Our first contract we sold, right? So I just kept holding with one contract, and still able to catch pretty nice reward on that trade. At the top, 131 ticks, above a 3-to-1 risk to reward on that. So yeah, I'll take it, guys. I will take it. That's what I'm talking about. So this is exactly how I trade. This is how I trade all-time highs. It's pretty simple. You wait for pullback, you wait for a support level, you get in, and then you just trail your stop as the trade moves up. You just trail your stop as the trade moves back up. So right now for me personally, I'm going to be very very open with you guys. So you know how I was down 2,000 2 weeks ago. Remember, I've had a break-even week, down 2,000, then another break-even week. Now this week I'm up about almost $1,800. So in 1 week, if I can continue this, right, there's a possibility I might lose a little bit of money here and there. But now I'm almost back. I've almost made all the losses back from that 1 week by just managing our risk throughout the past 3 weeks. Even frustrating weeks for sure with really tough trading conditions. But now we're almost like, this is what I've been trying to tell you guys, is even after those losses, you don't see me freak out. You don't see me try to revenge trade. No, we just keep our wrist tight and we look back, look to slowly make that profit back. You have a PA 800. I need to cash out 2K. Shouldn't I have that all-time high trade? What do you think? Wait, so you need 1,200 more? Or you need 800 more? So what I would say is if you're scaling down, you can still take these trades, but just have very tight stop losses. Like, you could have gotten an entry here, and you could have kept your stop pretty low, like 30 ticks, and still been able to catch that trade. So if you're going to trade all-time highs, just keep very tight stops. Very tight stops. And just slowly make your way there. Don't focus too much on just making that 800. You can still trade it at all-time highs if you want to. There's still these opportunities that we're seeing. But like I said, keep very tight stop losses. And that's what I would do personally. I would keep very tight stop losses. I would be scaling down a little bit personally. Wouldn't be going in heavy. All right, so we're still seeing that pump continue, guys. We're still seeing that pump continue. So there's still going to be plenty of opportunities to long this. Plenty of opportunities to long this. Again, I took my profit. I'm happy with it. Still look for more opportunity. But I'm pretty happy with that trade after, CPI going into FOMC. Pretty good. So it depends on the month. I typically will see at my average, like on a good month, my low will be around 5,000 to 6,000 on the week. Like around the higher side is around 10 to 12. Just depends on the month and how consistent I can make those profits. Yeah, on the week. It just depends on each week. Like, obviously the past few weeks haven't been like that. But the first 4 weeks of this Discord, I was, pretty consistent. Didn't take a lot of losses, so I was making really good profits. So like on my typically on a good day of trading, I'm looking for around 3,000 plus of profit. That's with my full position. When I'm trading half my lot size like this week, I'm not looking for 3,000 in profit. I'm looking more for around 1,000. And it's not like if I don't get $1,000, I don't care. It's not like I need $1,000 to be happy. But that's typically around what I'm kind of shooting for. Like when I'm trading 1 to 2 minis, I'm typically looking for around 1,000 in profit. Sometimes a little more. Depends on the day. But again, if I walk away with $550, I'm still happy with that. I mean, think about it. If you make $500 a day, you're making 6 figures. Obviously, that's not the most attainable thing because you're still going to take losses. But still. Monthly. I just do it monthly. Yeah, sometimes I'll copy trade. It just depends. I do like to copy trade prop firm accounts, so if I'm gonna trade prop firm accounts, I'll copy trade them. Okay, so right now we're starting to see that chop again. Okay, we're starting to see that stalling. Let's look at ES. Let's see if we want to break structure back to the downside. Create a bearish breaker. Let's see if we want to create a bearish breaker. Well, think about it like this. You have until June 15th. If you try to rush getting your payout and you take bad trades, you might miss out on all of that. If you just be patient and you get a $2,000 payout, the $80 doesn't really look as bad anymore, right? That $80 is really just your investment. That's your investment on top of your activation fee. So don't rush it just because you have to pay another fee. I mean, it just depends on where you're at. I understand that it's different depending on where you're at financially. But I wouldn't rush trying to get a payout just because you have to pay another monthly fee, because then that's when you're going to start taking bad trades. Yeah, that's when you start taking ill-advised trades. You start trying to rush it. You're only focused on the profit, and that's when it gets bad. Okay, now we just broke structure to the downside. We have a mini 1 minute bearish breaker. Still not really looking to short, guys, but just letting you know. High, low, higher, high. Displacement of the low. Technically, we have a bearish breaker here. We're starting to get that retracement off that bearish breaker. All right, it's only a 1 minute breaker, so it's not the strongest. Excuse me, it's not the strongest level. But this is what you want to see when a reversal comes into play. This is the exact type of structure you want to see come in. Again, I'm not really looking to short this right now with how bullish we've been. But if you wanted to short it, this would be the time. I'll be off that bearish breaker. VIX is really pumping now. So this might be the time to start looking short. Already almost hit that first standard deviation off that bearish breaker. We're really heading down now. So I'm not rushing into an entry. I'm not going to chase, but these shorts are coming in hard. Look at that. All right, so we formed a reversal pattern and we dump. Now we're getting a market structure shift. Look at that. Look at that move. Crazy. We got a fair value gap above. Yeah, this looks we're going to keep heading down, it looks like. We've got a lot of generated liquidity down here. Another 1 minute being formed here, possibly. Another entry opportunity up here. I might start to look for shorts here, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm still gonna keep very tight wrists though, just because we're still bullish overall. So I'm gonna keep very tight risk if I do. If I do want to jump in the shorts, we just gotta be careful of this being a fake out. Not looking to rush any entries whatsoever. Just waiting to see if we get any kind of reactions off these fair value gaps. And if we just keep pumping, well, I'm good. $150K on Apex. I honestly think the ideal sizing probably like max 12 micros. Honestly, if you're really focusing on managing your risk, I would say keeping it probably around 12 micros. Hope everything's okay, Deep. Take care. Okay, so we're getting a reaction off that 1 minute fair value gap above. Still not looking ready to short this. But this would be a short opportunity. Let's see. You have the 1 minute fair value gap at 10:14. Oh, come on out. 10:14, 10:14. Are you talking about this one down here? Not when we're having such bearish momentum. I expect price to run right through that now. All right, so I guess that 1 minute fair value gap is a pretty good entry. But after seeing this movement, yeah, once we take this liquidity, we could still see us bounce. But look at what we're forming here. Looks like a market maker sell model. Looks like a market maker sell model. We have that smart money reversal at the top. It's looking like we're trying to head right back down and rebalance this market almost back down to open. Or at least back down to a discount of our morning range. So, yeah, we have to assume after we take out liquidity levels that we're going to have some kind of pullback. But this looks like a pretty strong move down. Pretty strong move down here. Did anybody get a short entry off that fair value gap? I obviously didn't. But it's looking pretty good. If anybody did, there we go. Oh, you guys are eating. You guys are eating right now. Let's go. Yeah, exactly. They're like, let's get out of here before FOMC. Crazy dump. Look at that, guys. If for those of you that did get an entry on that, how many ticks is that right there? That's about 116 ticks so far. Pretty nice. Pretty awesome there. All right, now we have this 1 minute order block, 1 minute fair value gap up here. I'll look to start targeting an entry up there. Take us all the way back down. So yeah, this is looking like a market maker sell model. We have the smart money reversal up top. Getting our first distribution leg here. Small 1 minute fair value gap here. Could see a bounce off of it. I want to see if we're going to trade up into that fair value gap first. Yes, correct. Yeah, Jerry. I would recommend, like, I don't know, around 12 micros. And again, it always goes back to how well or how good you are at managing your risk. Man, if you're not good at managing risk, you go light. If you're really good at it, you can go a little bit heavier. Okay, so let's see if we can get a bounce off this 1 minute fair value gap here. I'll start to look for a short entry. Not if we're really pushing through it though. We got this 1 minute order block, 1 minute fair value gap. If we just push right through it, I'm not going to be looking for a short entry. Man, we are pushing right through. Wow. Oh, come on now. We do have a 5 minute above. I'm not playing heavy this week because of all of our news, right? Because of CPI, PPI, FOMC, and as well as all-time highs. Oh, man. My Wi-Fi's been doing great. It's been doing great so far. Hopefully it doesn't stop on us here. Come on now. All right, can you guys hear me? Check, check, check. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, good. Yeah, sorry guys, as I was saying, I'm getting new Wi-Fi. Getting new Wi-Fi very soon. So these issues will not be happening anymore. Okay, so we pushed right through that 1 minute there. It's like we're trying to push back up to that bearish breaker. We still have this 1 minute that we bounced off of earlier. We are bouncing off of that 5 minute down below. 5 minute bullish fair value gap here. 5 minute bullish order block. And now we're into that 5 minute bearish fair value gap. So disrespected this 1 minute. And now technically we just created a bullish 1 minute bullish breaker. So again, we've got levels fighting right now. We've got some levels fighting each other. Technically low high, lower low. Displacement of the high is technically a bullish breaker. So be careful with that. Again, that initial 2 moves there still gave very good reward. After seeing that movement, I was expecting it to be possibly a market maker sell model. So far, we're not really seeing that continuation. At this point, I would be waiting for us to break through. So, like, if I'm going to long again, I would wait for us to break through this bearish breaker. Once we break through that, then I'm looking for another pullback move. I'm looking long. If we keep respecting this bearish breaker up here and we start to push down, I'll look short. So it's just until these levels get disrespected. All right, so technically this is the bullish breaker here, the highest up close candle in the 1 minute. That first leg. So that would be the bullish breaker there. So I wouldn't take any trades until I see one of these see one of them win the fight, right? Once I see the winner, that's when I would start looking for another trade. It's like you're a bandwagon of the winning team. You wait for them to win and then you hop on. Now you're a fan. For all you Patriots fans out there. Yeah, that's personally what I would do. I would wait for one of them to win, and then I would wait for a pullback again. Right? It's just being patient. Because when we're really bouncing between 2 strong levels, it doesn't make me want to doesn't make me want to jump into any trade. I just want to wait for that confirmation. So we're pushing through that bearish breaker right now. We didn't even tap off the bullish breaker, sorry. We didn't even tap off the bearish breaker. Let's see if we're going to close below the bullish breaker here. Looks like we are. All right, but when we come up and disrespect all of these bearish for value gaps on the 1 minute, I'm not really looking to jump right back into the shorts after that. I want to see my levels being respected, not disrespected. Okay, so now we've won. Now the shorts have won the battle so far. Shorts have won the battle. It's looking like we're heading down. We still have this 5-minute imbalance we got to push through. We're actually creating another bearish breaker here if we take out that low. So let's see what we do here. Let's look at the 5-minute. That 5-minute, bouncing off that 5-minute bearish imbalance up there. We're trying to push through this 5-minute bullish imbalance. Looks like we're coming all the way back down to rebalance this market. So now we're seeing the shorts really win this battle. I'm expecting these shorts to really step in. I do think that they're going to try to push through now. Doesn't mean I'm going to chase them. I'm just going to wait for a good setup. Because even if we do get an entry all the way down here, we still have a lot of reward on this trade. Alright, even down to these lows. There's still going to be reward here. So I'm not looking to rush. We do have a lot of imbalances to push through. Alright, so we're forming a 1-minute bearish breaker now. You can see this candle here. Lowest down close candle. If we can close below, we trade back into it. Another short opportunity. Like that. Just waiting for us to close below. If you wanted to be very aggressive, you could take the shorts now. Just wouldn't have the best stop loss level. Or not that, but you just would be assuming that we're going to break without actually seeing the break. So you could take those shorts, but I'm personally going to wait for us to break structure. There we go. We're about to. Look at this 5 minutes, about to close below. We're now in that order block. Looks like we're heading down here, guys. So I'm going to wait for a retest. Wait for us to test that bearish breaker now. If it runs away from me, it runs away. I'm going to wait for us to test it. Obviously, we have a lot of bullish imbalances and order blocks and stuff over here, but this is looking like we're really trying to head down. So I'm willing to test it. Okay, so we're touching into that breaker now. Need to see a bounce if I'm going to get an entry. Got to see a bounce from this level. Not just going to jump in. I'm not going to jump in off of a strong bullish candle. Got to see a good reaction. Okay, like that. I'm just going to test it out here in half a lot again in the shorts. So again, I got filled pretty low. Been getting filled pretty bad recently. So 9.5, that's not too bad. 9.5 is my entry. Just in half a lot in the shorts. I'll just keep a stop just above 45 ticks, just around that 0.5, the equilibrium of that. Again, I'm going to monitor this trade very close. If we can't break through, I'll just cut my losses early. 19,506 is my stop right now. Right, but if we just start to pump and we can't break through that low, I'm just going to get out. I'm not even going to let it go hit my full stop. I just want to see us go down and take out that low. All right, I'll cut my losses very early if we can't break out. Okay, let's start to move here. Let's start to move. Start to move. Still in half a lot. Still not adding in yet. Start to break. I'll think about adding in. Just want to see us break those lows. There we go. We're starting to move a little bit. We're targeting, first of all, these lows here. So about 60 ticks, 57 ticks. That would be that first target. Right here. That low. Then we're just targeting our standard deviations. Okay, there we go. I think we're gonna really try to head down here. Still gonna manage my risk very tight here. So again, first target, literally 58 ticks. We can't seem to break through just yet. Right? If we can't break through these lows, I'm just, like I said, if we start to pump at all, I'll just get out. I'll look for a re-entry. I'm not trying to take a big loss on this whatsoever. I mean, obviously half a lot with 45 ticks isn't bad, but I want to keep my wrist very tight here. So I've got my finger right on the exit, market close, just in case we start to pump too aggressively. We're wanting to break through the lows. We're trying to. Once we do that, we're gonna dump. But if we can't do that, I want to wait to get back in. So now we're pumping. Let's see if I want to cut my loss here. I'm just gonna cut my loss here, guys. I'm just gonna cut it short, cut it early. Not seeing enough reaction yet to feel confident enough. I don't want to take that full loss. Cutting it early. Small loss there. Look for a different entry. If we can't seem to break those lows, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like how much stalling we're getting down here on the 5-minute order block. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for a different entry here. I still like the shorts. Still want to see the shorts come in. Lower highs, lower lows being formed. Again, not really trying to risk all my profits, guys. I'm just, cutting losses early. Seeing if we're going to get that downwards move. Come take out sell side liquidity. Come rebalance that market. Okay, let's look at our morning range. So this is our morning range right here. Let's see where that 0.5 level is. All the way down there is that 0.5 level. So it's not too far away. I think at least we'll go, hit that discount, hit the equilibrium. We're just not wanting to break through. We're not seeing a lot of volume at the moment. Look at that pullback on the hour, though. Right, and that hourly bullish for value gap, good level to target. Yeah, so just seeing that we weren't trying to break the lows and we started to pump, I'm just cutting my loss early. I'm not going to let that one go hit my full stop. All right, and we always can look for re-entries. 3-minute imbalance here. 2-minute imbalance. We're still in that bearish breaker. Like I said, I don't like bearish breakers as much if they're coming from a bearish trend or a bearish move. I like to see them as reversal moves more often. But seeing us really bounce from this reversal here, I wanted to see that continuation down. All right, we got that market structure shift, break a structure. So just no continuation yet. So now I'll be patient again. Wait to see what happens here. No need to rush. And the closer we get to FOMC, guys, the crazier we're going to see price action get. We'll probably get more volatile. We might get more choppy, more rangy. So, yeah, I mean, I'm only going to really look for trades for a little bit longer, not for too much longer. And then we'll come back right before FOMC at 10:45 a.m. Pacific. We'll look at our charts. We'll watch FOMC play out, and we'll see if there's going to be any setups for us. Yeah, I mean, I think the shorts will come back in. It's just about getting that timing right here. So I'm just waiting patiently. Still respecting our bearish breaker. Still making lower lows, lower highs. But we can see on the 5-minute. Bouncing from that 5-minute bullish order block here. Would really want to see us at least come sweep this liquidity down here. That's why that was my first target. Or at the least come down to here. And possibly down to that 0.5. If we're not really going to have that market maker sell model, at the least come down to a discount. I wish we're getting closer to London close, so we might see that happen more towards London close, which is like 26 minutes away. Remember that London close reversal? Something I talk about pretty often. And just to remind you guys, if you didn't see my announcement on Sunday, I won't be trading tomorrow. I will be on a plane in the morning, so I won't be trading tomorrow. I sent that announcement on Sunday just to give you guys that update. But I will be trading Friday. Friday we will still be on. What I still will do for you guys, though, is tonight I will give you guys a, maybe we could even set up a charting session or something tonight. Kind of get you guys prepared for tomorrow if you're still going to be trading. And still try to give you guys, good levels or things that I'm going to be looking at. I'm not going to be trading tomorrow, but I still want you guys to be prepared. So tonight you'll hear from me. I'll try to run a charting session for you guys. And then in the morning, before I hop on the plane, I'll try to give you guys some kind of idea of what I would be looking at in the market. Okay, so we're still kind of trading up. Again, we're going to start losing volume here going into lunch. You can see we're starting to lose volume. We're starting to see smaller bodied candles. Not a lot going on here. This is when I don't really want to take a trade, is with this volume here. So yeah, on this reversal here, this is the only trade I would have looked for, and I still wasn't really ready to take the shorts. But here's the only really setups we could have seen. This 1 minute trading into the 1 minute bearish breaker. Just barely tapped in. Still kind of a hard entry to take. This short here off the 1 minute fair value gap. And I still wouldn't have taken this short because we didn't tap into the bearish breaker and we disrespected all of our bearish fair value gaps. So that's not even something I would have taken. And then obviously the one that I took down here off, we're seeing nice structure, 1 minute bearish breaker, wanted to see the continuation, take out this liquidity, and we just wanted to range back up. So yeah, those are kind of the only setups on this move. And we are moving up. Moving up, disrespecting our bearish levels again. Is my screen buffering? It doesn't say it is. Can you guys see my screen? Is it clear? Whoa. Okay. Alright, we're good. Sunrise, sunrise. Alright guys, so at this point, really just, I don't really want to take more trades when we're in like really slow price action like this. When we're starting to range now. Again, leading into FOMC, we might just see us range, so be aware of that. Right, if we come up and disrespect, close above the highs, close above the bearish breaker, you can start looking for longs again at all-time highs. Let's see what the VIX is doing at this point. VIX is still green right now. But yeah, seeing us move like this, I'm now just kind of waiting because we're disrespecting all of our bearish levels. Right, kind of ranging back up to the top. So let's see if we want to keep this bearish trend here. Make another lower high. But again, when I don't see these levels that I like, not really looking to get entries. 5 minutes really moving up. All right, we have this 5 minute bearish fair value gap up here. Let's see what we do when we touch back into that. We're still respecting this 1 minute. All right, but after seeing this ranging type of behavior and the slower price action, it doesn't make me want to jump back into a trade just yet. If I did a charting session tonight, who would be available for that? Would I have a lot of people that would want to hop on? I'm thinking like around, let me think, probably around like 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, sick. All right. Well, I'm doing it then. I'm doing it. Unless the world ends. Unless the world starts to end by 5 to 6 Pacific, we will hop on for charting. Yes, around 8 Eastern. I'll give you guys an update. I'll send you an announcement. Nice. Mountain time zone would be at 6 to 7 p.m. Central time would be 7 to 8 p.m. We're going to start the stream before FOMC. I'm going to start it again at our normal time, 10:45. Just so we can kind of look at the charts, kind of watch it play out. Again, we're not gonna have book club today, guys. AZ Sunshine is out of town, so she won't be able to run. So if you normally show up to book club, we will have it back again next week. So no book club this week. Just take a little break. Again, not going to be trading leading up to FOMC anyways. Take a little break. And then we'll come back at 10:45 for our last session. Last trading session. And we'll see what happens during FOMC. Crazy day today. The market is rallying. Let's see if FOMC wants to dump us, or if it's going to continue this crazy, crazy rally that we've been seeing in the market. FOMC is 2 p.m. Eastern. 2 p.m. Eastern. 1 p.m. Central. 12 p.m. Mountain. 11 a.m. Pacific. How's that, guys? Did I cover everybody's time zone? I know some of you guys are around the world on completely different time zones. Tokyo is how many hours behind? If Hawaii is 3 hours, I would guess Tokyo is 5 to 6 hours behind. Wait, but it's on the Eastern Hemisphere, so I might be completely off. I'm going to look that up right now. What time is it in Tokyo right now? Huh? Oh, Tokyo's 13 hours ahead because it's still on the Eastern Hemisphere. So, is it 13 hours ahead of Eastern time? So it's 17 hours ahead of Pacific time, 14 hours ahead of New York time. So, yeah, if you're on Tokyo, you'll be waking up already for our charting session. Okay, so let's see if we're going to make that lower high and keep ranging down. Again, I don't know if I'm going to look for another trade right now. Just because we're doing so much ranging. We're not really sweeping any buy side right now. Leading into FOMC, I'm kind of wanting to take a break, take a step back. Not really take any more entries. We already caught a really good trade. And both of our losses today have been very small, very minimal losses. All right, and that's what you have to do. You have to let your runners run, catch bigger trades, cut your losses. Keep your losses tight. Keep them small. Because, like, think about it. Today, what is our win rate? Our win rate has only been 33.333333%. And yet, we're in the green. Right? So, you don't need to focus on win rate as much. You just need to focus on your risk management. Focus on adding to your winners, cutting your losers, letting your winners ride. That's what it's all about. You could have a very low win rate and still be a profitable trader. But if you have a very low win rate and no risk management, you will not be a profitable trader. So it looks like we're going to head down to the bottom of the range. Keep trending down. S&T at the lows here. ES continues heading down. So yeah, I mean, at this point, guys, not really looking to take a trade here. I'll probably call it here. Again, got that one trade for how many ticks? I don't even know, 100. I mean, at the top of that trade was 131 ticks. So, just be happy with the profits. Don't go gambling them away, please. Please, please, please don't do that. Just hold on to your profits. If you're going to take any more trades, keep very small risk. I hope you do. I hope you do. But yeah, so again, price action leading into FOMC is not going to be great. At least I don't think it will. Typically, it's not. So I'm going to hold off on any more trades for now. Okay, but we're going to come back at 10:45 Pacific Standard Time. and we will watch FOMC. We'll watch it play out, and we'll look to see if we're gonna have any really good setups. And from there, we'll call it a day trading, and then we'll hop back on for charting later. All right. So if you guys don't have any more questions, any comments for me, I think I'm gonna end the session here. Take our greens, walk away. Walk away with our greens. Yeah, well, no more questions or anything, guys. Then let's hop off here. Go take a break. Exactly. Walk away with that spinach. And I'll see you guys back again pretty soon for FOMC. Trade safe if you're going to keep trading. Remember, I'm not going to keep trading unless I see the best setup ever. I won't be taking any trades leading up to FOMC. So, no, thank you. Thank you. I'll see you guys soon. Take it easy. Love you more. Peace.